I hate to have to close out the show with being the bearer of bad news, but let's get into it. So let's talk about nightlife legend and drag icon Kevin Aviance, who I had found out yesterday. I think right after I logged off the show because we did an early show yesterday, and I happened to be scrolling and I saw that Lady Bunny had posted this thing from Kevin's page, which was asking prayers for Kevin. And then the mother of the house of Aviance, aka Mother Juan, shout out to her, posted the same thing. And I immediately had to hit up my good sister, my Judy, because well, shout out to Funky Dineva because Funky Dineva said he lost a friend because somebody thought when he said about this girl's his good Judy that they said that it was his good Jew. I'm like, first of all, good Judy means bestie, close friend, somebody who's like, that's Judy girlfriend or Dorothy, that whole thing. So my good Judy, that's what we call people when it's like Ace Boone Coon or whatever. So anyway, my good Judy, Jovan Aviance, I went and hit him up and we started, I was like, did you hear about the whole, he was like, yeah, I heard. I even asked him and Lamont Aviance Dinkins, who passed away, may he rest in peace a couple of months ago. I asked him when I went to go visit him because he had just come out the hospital. He had passed away from cancer. At the time, he was just out of the hospital from the whole cancer treatment and all this other stuff. But anyway, when we were kikiing and having a conversation, I asked him, I was like, how come a lot of y'all don't get together? And he said, because there's too many of us. And it's like, yeah, when you in a house and you have a lot of members of your house, a lot of them it's so many of them, it's hard to like keep track and get everybody in like one space. So yeah, and I believe if I was not mistaken, I was told Sir Ari Gold was a member of the House of Aviance as well. That's what I was told. But yeah, so this unfortunate news came about where um the legend whose music helped define a generation of ballroom and club culture, me being included, because when I was in a club, you could not get away from Dindada, you could not get away from Rhythm Is My Bitch, you could not get away from one of my favorite songs, Cunty, Feeling Like a Daisy, Feeling Like a Rose, Feeling Like an Orchid. Like that was my shit. And I remember the day that I bought box of chocolates. I don't know how I was even aware of like Kevin Aviance put out music, but I told you I used to live in the Virgin Mega Store, and I went to the one that was in 14th Street, Union Square, and I went in there and I was record shopping, and I happened to come across the album. I think it was on Crave Records, which I never heard of, but Kevin got the album put out, and I loved the album cover. It was just everything. It was giving Grace Jones vibes, and I remember I was living for these songs because at the time I was going out to the clubs. It was HX and Next were like the prominent queer magazines that was in New York. So that was like, if you want to know where to go, who the who's who were in the nightlife scene, HX and Next were the magazines that we looked at to find out where we need to go to just have a good time. That's when New York was popping with the clubs. So, and Kevin was holding court in a lot of those clubs, especially when he used to be, thick as thieves with Junior Vasquez, who you already know had the issue with Madonna back in the day. You already know the history of when Madonna calls, I'm not here. Not getting into that. But, and that's how I learned from Kevin about, when Madonna used to get on everybody's nerves, used to call her Madoodoo. That's why I got that. I always tell y'all the story. So, so yeah, so I remember when I bought the CD and I went up to the register and I wound up striking up a conversation with one of the guys that was ringing up my order. And so I was like, okay. And so I found another one that's a part of my tribe because we started getting into this conversation about Kevin. So that's my little Kevin story before I get to, the whole situation that had happened. So what had happened was apparently they said that he's recovering in the hospital after a life-threatening health emergency. So on Monday, May 26th, Aviance's team shared a statement on social media with the latest updates regarding the queer icon's health status. And I do have that post, so let's take a trip over to his Instagram and says the following. It says a message from Team Kevin Aviance. In the last 24 hours, our beloved Kevin had a very serious health scare. While at home, he began experiencing difficulty breathing and initially thought it was just an asthma attack. Believing it would pass, he waited, but things quickly took a turn for the worse. Kevin was rushed to the emergency room where he was diagnosed with septic poisoning and pneumonia. The doctors have told us that Kevin is incredibly lucky to be alive. He is still in the hospital, currently on oxygen and being closely monitored. If all continues to go well, he's expected to be released in the next 2 to 3 days. And this is the story that came out yesterday. This is an emotional time for Kevin, his family, and all of us who love him. It's a reminder that health is everything. Sometimes our bodies whisper before they scream. We have to listen and slow down. Please continue to keep Kevin in your thoughts and prayers as he recovers. Your love and energy mean the world to him. With gratitude, the Kevin Aviance family and team. So, um, shout out to y'all for putting this story out there. I do remember the last time I saw Kevin, actually, and I probably told y'all this, when I was at the RuPaul's Drag Race season 17 premiere. I was there at the premiere, the after party. Kevin was the DJ. And so while I was stuffing my face with all them delicious hors d'oeuvres, he was pumping out them beats, and I was getting my life while I was there. So, in addition to, um, what was, that announcement, there were some people that jumped in the comments with some things. Aja the Queen posted 5 heart emojis. Jackie Beats put sending tons of love and waves of healing. Purple drag queen light. Full recovery queen. The world needs your energy. Coco Montree said love and prayers to this icon for a speedy recovery. We love you, Kevin. And this is probably a worse time too because, Pride is next month. And that's when a lot of the girls, the LGBT performers, that's when they start getting that money. And Kevin's been relatively busy ever since he started working with Voss Entertainment, and and having oh my God, I totally forgot Andrew WK's ex-wife who represents him as his manager. Totally forgot. Damn, I forgot her name. Cherie Lilly, that's her damn name. So ever since he got her on board as his manager and everything, like his career has been onward and upward. So also the Real AIDS Memorial jumped in with prayer emojis. Brian Friedman, who is a known dancer, choreographer, he was in the Lady Gaga Abracadabra video. He's also done some stuff for So You Think You Could Dance. He said, "Sending you so much love." Ultra Nate, my girl, shout out to her, jumped them in the comments and said, "Oh no, sending all my love for a full recovery." Sherry Vine says, "Sending love." Dominique Tyra A. Ross, I know I have to say her whole name, says, "Sending love and prayers." Riv Royalty says, "Thinking of you, BB." Aurora Sexton jumped in the comments. Mario Diaz, who is known by Gay Uncle Mario too, said, "Love you, Kevin." So yeah, a lot of the people who are in the nightlife scene, who are in the club scene, Amanda Lepore jumped up in here and said, "Sending love and light and a speedy recovery." Nikki Doll said, "Sending all the positive energies possible your way." So yeah, everybody's sending their love and wishes and things of that nature. And yeah, so let's do that. Let's send Kevin all the love because look, I can't with another icon being lost. Like that would, if Kevin was the go, that I feel like that one would really hurt. I mean, I definitely felt the way when we lost Sir Ari Gold, but for Kevin, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can take it. And then on top of that, look, I guess the only positive out of that would be at least he gets to be with one of his best friends who literally was Ari Gold. You could not, those two were inseparable when Ari was alive. Ari passed away from cancer. For those of you who weren't really familiar with that, so yeah. A shout out to you, Kevin. And I want to hear from y'all. For those of you who are in the nightlife scene, who love the whole nightlife scene, who are familiar with Kevin, who love Kevin and love the music and all the other stuff, I definitely want to hear from you. Love and light, prayer, sending out that prayer energy to you, because we definitely need you to have a speedy recovery so you can sit out here and twirl for the girls on that dance floor and keep dropping those sickening beats. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below.